What's Gucci? It is your boy Killer Delphia, and today I got on the podcast with me my guy Kizzie K.
What's good, man? What's good, Killer?
Hey, what up, bro? How you doing, man?
Chilling, man. Can't complain about anything, bro. Enjoying this summer. Summer here in California, so we out
Sir.
here enjoying it out here on the West Coast and things like that.
Hey, that's
Can't
lit.
complain about anything.
I'm out here in Florida, bro, and
Oh
it's
man,
always sunny out here, bro. No lie.
yeah. I got the tropical storm, man.
Yeah, for sure, yo. My power
Uh,
went out earlier. I don't even want to talk about it, bro. But so much stuff been going on with this storm.
mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. It's kind of crazy. How y'all been dealing with it, or are y'all getting affected by it?
I mean, we chilling, bro. Like, we don't really have like honestly, it was like randomly raining. But our storms is like we just get mad water, and like California, we just can't take water for some reason. Like we always act crazy when water is involved. But right now it's been like super hot, so like we've been pretty chill on that. Nothing else hasn't been really too crazy. It's been going pretty smooth. One thing I would say is like the pandemic we starting to do a bit better now. That's
Absolutely.
the type of storm that we going through. We going through like COVID
Yeah,
cases, but we doing
absolutely.
better now.
Hey, that's lit, man.
Yeah,
So how was it for you, man? And like growing up?
growing up,
Yeah.
shit, it's hard, bro. I grew up in South Central.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah, like 65th, man, 65th and Broadway. Do I never forget that street? Uh, growing up hard, it was really rough. I mean, I was blessed to be able to have a bunch of people that were a bit older than me, but we all kind of share the same interests. But it definitely wasn't easy. Definitely wasn't an easy thing. Especially doing things that I'm doing now because it wasn't necessarily like a thing that you could do. It just kind of like happened, and then I just so happened to recognize it. But definitely wasn't easy. I would say
Absolutely.
it was like the hardest shit, and like because we are a product of our environment, definitely had to learn things a little bit more harsher than other people.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
me, I'm from Philadelphia, North Philly to be exact, and that's the hood as well. And it wasn't easy for me growing up. And it's just
Mhm.
crazy to talk to another brother that's from the hood that made it through adversity and diversity. And I just wanted to ask you, man, like, what got you into gaming? What made you say, you know what? Um, I'm gonna like try to separate my mind from living in the hood to like, playing video games.
Yeah, my dad, bro. Rest in peace, man. My dad actually was the key to where I am now. I am the product of my father. When I was young, my man used to literally foster, like, nurture me to like play. He was like, "Yo, man, like, you sit in the house." He was like, "Look, I'm gonna give you $5. Go to the arcades and go enjoy yourself." So I used to go and play on the Neo Geo cabs on like the liquor store and shit like that, and basically like you know I used to play and spend all the quarters and shit like that. And basically that was my thing, right? So like we used to go to the arcade machines and like play on Neo Geo cab. We used to play like King of Fighters, Metal Slug, and then we had the Marvel's Capcom cabs and shit like that. And I just so happened to just really got competitive because like basically you wanted to get your initials on the top of the leaderboards. So
Absolutely.
for you to do that, you had to be good. So, there were other kids that also had their names too. So we had like I would go one day and I'll try to beat it. They'll go behind our backs and go and then try to beat it. And then sometimes we'll run into each other and like play each other. And we these are kids, right? But like as you think about it, that's like kind of competitive. But we didn't know what that was when we were young. We were just doing it because that was like the cool shit.
Absolutely.
Um, but yeah, I gotta thank my dad, man. My dad, he used to tell me like, "Yo, man, like, there were times where, like, because my mom and my dad were separated, uh, I didn't have a lot of like family activities really. So like when my friends had family activity, I kind of felt left out. So my dad would be like, "Dog, don't worry about it. Like, you got this, you got that. You don't really need anybody. You just need you,
Absolutely.
bro." So like
Yep.
he was like, "Dog, you want to do this? He was like, "Here's a game." You know what I'm saying? So he got me a Super Nintendo. He got me all this shit, right?
Wow.
And yeah, he basically like it naturally just made me enjoy it, you know, and like it was just one of the things that I always did. I mean, my mom hated the shit out of my dad for it, but you know, my dad was just like, dog, like he said, whatever make my son happy. You know, that was kind of like the mentality. Yeah, he's like, whatever make my son happy, I do what I make sure I do what I need to do. And he was serious about that. And seeing how serious he was actually scared me because I see how far he will go for me, right?
Absolutely.
And as a kid, it was scary because I don't know like the limit of where he goes. But then as I grow up and then I see something like that, I now feel like what I will go through to make sure I'm successful, like there's no limit to how far you would go. And like that's what I learned. The one thing about my dad is like there was no boundaries there. He would not go to make sure I'm okay.
I felt
And
that.
yeah, it's heavy, but it's good to have it's a double edged sword, you know. But it's good to have a skill like that, and I'm very blessed to be able to have some part of that, you know, in my
Yeah.
life and in my living, you know, me living and waking up every morning, you know.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
know, I send my condolences to you and your family as well for your loss. I know that
Mhm.
played a part in your growing up, and
Yeah, it did.
yeah, and I personally I never had a father in my life. I had a father figure, but like my biological father wasn't there for me.
Hmm.
So I feel like like a part of me growing up and my upbringing has a lot missing. Just like as a man and manhood, like I missed out on a lot of things. So hearing that perspective from you, like is like, dang man, like I wish I had that. Like what I'm
Yeah,
saying. But
yeah.
what was the first video game you ever played?
Shit, Bomberman, bro.
Wow.
My sister,
That's a
my my
classic.
or- my sister, she used to love Bomberman, and she actually got me into like what a video game was. So like when I realized I wanted my dad to buy me one, and like yeah, Bomberman was the first game, and then the first fighting game was Street Fighter 2.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What was the first fighting game that you went pro in?
I want to say the first fighting game I got pro in was Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear, Xrd, and Blaze Blue, and Under Night. I definitely want to say that Guilty Gear put me more on the map. So I would say that was be the first game I went pro on by recognition of people knowing me. But I definitely played like multiple other games that I was pretty successful with. But that game put me on the map.
Absolutely. What was your
Yeah.
first big tournament win?
My first big tournament win was I want to say Frosty Fausting. So like 2 years ago, there was the first American qualifier for Guilty Gear, and I won the first one.
Wow,
And I
that's
would say
lit.
that was my big, yeah, that was the biggest one, and that was and I won the first one. And it's
Congratulations,
funny.
bro.
Thank you on that. And it's
Much
funny
love.
because I told everybody, I told everybody that weekend that I was going to win. And like I walked in there and it was like, "How do you feel about this tournament?" I said, "Oh, I'm going to win this shit. It's nothing.
Super
It's
confident.
yeah. Like I was practicing really hard, and I have three witnesses, man. If you ever get a chance to talk to them, I was talking to them the day of. I was telling them, I was like, bro, I kid you not, I'm going to smoke this tournament, and I'm not going to get sent to losers.
That
Yeah,
had
I
to
was
be
just
like a crazy like journey, and that had to be like from a fan standpoint, that had to be like something crazy to see from you.
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty persistent when it's shit that I want to do, you know. So if I practice really hard on it, and I'm like seeing how I'm playing and seeing like how I'm mentally at, and there's nothing like holding me back. There's like I'm focused, like I'm comfortable. Oh, that's too much freedom for me, dude. And like I take advantage of it, you know,
Yeah,
and create something amazing, you know.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, so besides like the fighting, games and stuff like that, what other video games are you interested in?
I actually like I mess with like shooters. I like a lot of shooters. I really like a lot of RPG games. I'm a really huge like fan with like RPG games. Uh, I actually started getting into like Call of Duty and Rainbow Six. Those
Okay.
games catch my interest pretty well. I actually, yeah, I'm really like RPG games. I think I really like stories. Stories is like super good, and I think the reason why I like stories a lot is because being in a position I was as a kid, and like seeing like how stories develop and like possibilities of what could happen and things like that always keeps me like interested, right? So I think I'm like really interested in like very story heavy based, and I think it's just based on how I was raised and how I became who I am now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're into RPGs and FPSs, and of
Yeah.
course, the fighting games as well.
Fighters. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I like turn based too, like turn based, like strategy shit, like
Yeah.
RTS. Yeah, I like a lot of shit like that too.
Pretty much a strategy guy as well. I like FPSs and RPGs too. Are you
Yeah.
by any chance into like the whole GTA thing that's going on right now?
Nah, but honestly, I'm not gonna lie. The spectator is actually the most entertaining things to watch. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I think as a spectator is super great. For me, I think it would be too hard for me to like hold on character because it's just like it's too funny and
Yeah.
entertaining.
You're a
But
great
just like
character.
yeah, it's too good. Like people are too good there. I just feel like I wouldn't be able to last because they're too good.
Yeah.
But as a spectator, I think it's one of the sickest shit ever that people create servers and like do their thing. I think that's tight.
Yeah. I got one question for you. So I know like when you play a video game a lot, you can sometimes like get mentally and physically like burnt out. Like how do you overcome that?
So one of the things that I've once you've reached a certain level, there is a thing where you want to we call it quality practice. And like one of the quality practices is like, you do more studying than playing. But you make sure like when you play with causes, like you play with a cause, right?
Absolutely.
And you execute those causes. And if you fail them, then you work on it. And if you complete them, then you look at what can you do to fine tune it up to perfection, right? As the best you can. And then you slowly start digesting those type of those variables that you need to work on.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so like because I do that, I don't feel as burnt out anymore. Because when I play with if I'm practicing, I am practicing for a purpose. So that means that I can't get bored because
Absolutely.
I want to work on something. There's something that I'm targeting. I feel like when you get burnt out, it's because you're just going and there's no direction of where you're going. You're just running forward and you're hoping that you run into the finish line. You're
Absolutely.
hoping. And like when you're starting to learn, I think that's a good way to go. But I feel like as you become more veteran, even if you could look at it as real life, when you get older, you got to start focusing on your knees. You got to check on your legs. You got to make sure like your body is healthy. So I feel like as you become a veteran player, you have to make sure your mind is healthy. Because if your mind is not healthy, then how are you going to improve when your mind can't even process what's happening? So it's
Absolutely.
very important to quality practice, and I haven't been burnt out because of that.
Yo, you got a lot of wisdom, man. I'm not gonna lie, you dropping a lot of gems right now on the podcast, man. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's helping me get through, everything that I'm going through as far as like being burnt out when I'm playing Call of Duty or when I'm gaming or whatever the case may be. That's a
Yeah,
that's a real strong mentality to have. I feel like that's a millionaire mindset.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Honestly,
man.
like I said, I wasn't born with this. It definitely took some years and some fucking L's, man. Let me tell you, I took a
Oh,
lot of L's, but I'm starting to like formulate a plan, and like I go by that plan, and I just talk about it because if somebody asks me, I talk about it, and I want everybody else to have that $1 million mindset too.
absolutely. And it's genuine too. You can tell, everything that you've been through, you learned from. We turn L's into W's.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. And I'm
Yep.
I'm blessed to be here. and I'm going to continue on spreading that good energy to my foundation.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Is there if there's like any advice out there that you can give somebody like me per se? Because
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, I grew up on fighters, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Smash Bros. And I remember I would try to like play online. This probably be funny as ever to you. I would try to play online, but every time I played online, I would literally get like backed into a corner, and the other guy just be like hit me with like these crazy combos that I have no idea about. So for someone like starting off a fighter like me, how would you give them some advice to like get from out of a situation like where you're backed into a corner?
So honestly, being in a position is never a good feeling. It's always overwhelming. And when a lot of people get put in a bad situation, even by nature, you go for like your natural instinct, right? Which is panic, fear. You don't know what's going on, so you're afraid.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I'll always say is like when you get put in those situations like that, try to think about what's happening and what's he doing, right? And when you think about what he's doing and what's happening, your brain is going to try to find various ways. And this is all from not panicking because you're now in a state of mind where you acknowledge that you're in this bad situation. You acknowledge that this situation is really rough. And now you're going to try to figure out what to do. Sometimes not doing anything will get you out of that bad situation. But for
Wow.
you to get to that point, you got to let yourself not do anything. You got to let yourself just sit there and embrace it because it's going to happen. So you can't run away from it. So you kind of have to just take it. So when you see everything and you took everything, you start seeing, okay, he threw me. All right, cool. Okay, he went for an overhead. Okay. All right, now he's going for a low. Okay, so now that I've seen the overhead option, I've seen the throw option, and I've seen the low option. Okay, so after I get hit by the overhead, I should look for the low or throw. Oh, he hit me with the overhead again. Okay, so I know he did it again. All right, now I got to look for the overhead, low, and throw again because now he is now adding the additional overhead. So now your mind is so like, okay, I need to look for these options, and eventually you're going to see, oh, I got out of that situation, and now you're like, oh, I didn't like panic and I didn't get hit, and I'm getting frustrated. You acknowledge and you accepted the situation, and now you're trying to find a solution. That's one
Absolutely.
thing I feel like a lot of people run into a plateau just for anything. It's like uh, trying to avoid the situation rather than embracing it. You have to embrace it. You have to acknowledge that this is the situation you're in. You have to get out.
Bro, you're you're a counter mastermind. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Everything
good.
that I got from this conversation is like bro, it's mind blowing how much of a master you are at countering. I
Yeah,
can tell. It's just
experience, man.
that's crazy, man. Like I
Experience. I
said,
would say real life experience definitely helped.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I said, man, like when I would try to play these games that you play professionally online for the first time, I would just get so frustrated because I'm being backed into a corner. And then I think they call it like juggling, where the guy just kicks you in
Yeah.
the air and then he keeps
Yeah.
you in there. And then
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it, bro. That wasn't my
Yeah.
forte. So I just stuck with Call
Yeah.
of Duty and FPS games, and I stayed in my lane. But I do enjoy fighters, man. I definitely want to hit up a tournament, and hopefully I can see you playing one day, live.
There's a CEO. There's CEO is happening December, and that's in Florida. It's in Orlando.
Oh wow, that's where I'm at right now. I might
Yeah,
need to
so
the
check that out.
details
It's
on
called
that.
CEO Gaming, and you could probably get a spectator pass, and it's a good event, and like it's going to be a pretty big event because it's one of the big events that are now officially happening this year. So it's going to be like a big premiere event. So like if you can, man, come through. It's a
Absolutely.
good vibe, and like hell, you might go up there and pick up a thing or two because they just be selling stuff up there too, man.
Oh yeah, I like the collectibles. Um,
Yeah.
speaking of collectibles, my favorite character is the Hawk. Here's one of my theme controllers. It's a Hawk theme. Battle Beaver. Shout out to my sponsor, Battle Beaver. I gotta plug them in. But what would your favorite like character or collectible be?
If my favorite character, honestly, it has to be Virgil from Devil May Cry.
Wow, bro,
Yeah, that's
he's
my
so
favorite character.
smooth.
That's my
He's
favorite
so
character.
smooth. Virgil is crazy with it.
Yeah, Virgil is actually godlike.
Yeah,
I actually like his lore a lot, and I actually think he's like, yeah, that's my favorite character.
yeah.
And as for collectibles, I like to collect watches. So
Okay.
I'm like, I've been getting into like just watches, and like one of the pieces that I'm gonna be collecting is like it's basically it's like I have like this purple watch,
Yeah.
blue and it's green, and I'm trying to get like yellow, red, and like basically that theme is like the Thanos theme.
Okay.
I'm trying to get all of the stones,
Like the
but like in the
Stones.
watch colors, yeah, but in watch
Yeah.
colors.
Yo, that's
Yeah, and
sick.
I've been like a huge fan of like collecting watches. Uh, one of the things why I like it so much is because I really feel like watches have a lot of expressive, uh, like it has an expressive feeling.
Yep.
So I feel like it's a cool way to like express yourself and how
Absolutely.
you going. And I also think that the fact that talented engineers could form so many machines and put it in a small watch is unappreciated. So I actually just want to wear it just to appreciate them and also appreciate the kind of thing that I want to wear. That I want to wear that day.
Absolutely. Shout out to the watch engineers out there.
Yeah, that ain't
You
crazy,
know.
dude.
Hey, Kizzie, appreciate y'all. And hey,
Yeah,
hopefully I can grow to appreciate, watches as well as time goes
yeah,
on.
yeah, man.
I just feel like, personally, like with watches and stuff, like time is like endless.
Yeah, yeah, man. And
Time is
like
infinite.
time has its own personality, and like it doesn't you cannot dictate whether what time want to do, man. And I think that's the most unique. It's unique because time really plays like the devil's advocate. I feel like
Facts.
but it's not in a bad way, but it's also in a way where it always keeps you in check. It always keeps you humble some way.
Yeah.
And if you disrespect it, it disrespects you.
Facts.
And that's crazy, right? It's
Yeah,
crazy
that
to think
is.
that time
That's
time
some
can
game.
disrespect it. Yeah, time can
Yeah.
disrespect you if you disrespect time.
Yeah. Like
You know.
like growing up in esports or whatever the case may be, I didn't know that I would be in this exact moment that I'm in right now. I didn't know that I'll be interviewing, you just based off of social media. I joined Twitter in 2009 and so many years went by that I've been grinding. I didn't even realize that, you know, that time and effort that I put in played a big part in the person that I am right now. So I definitely feel you on that. Time is very valuable, and if you don't use it the right way, then it could definitely like have some type of backlash or a negative effect on the occurrences that can go on in someone's life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
And like, I wish I could go back to my 16-year-old self and be like, yo, man, you gotta stop doing stupid stuff and do something, right? But,
Yeah.
like for me to be who I am today, I feel like I had to make mistakes around that age. So I'm just glad that I I've learned, and I was able to bounce back and now bring something amazing to the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely doing a good job at bringing something amazing to the world, man. Pretty
Thanks,
sure
man. I appreciate it.
this world embraces you as a goat. You put out that type of energy, that's what you receive. And it's all
Yeah.
about being positive, man, at the end of the day.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yep.
We gotta keep the energies high, man. That's the only way to move forward, dude. And it's gonna motivate people to continue moving forward either.
Facts.
When they see somebody doing something amazing, what a person gonna be in the back of their head is like, I want to do something amazing. And
Yep.
that's exactly what I wanna pull off. I want people to think of doing amazing shit better than what I'm doing, you know?
Yeah. So I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Growing up, I know it can be pretty tough, when you got to balance school and video games. How did you do that?
Well, I mean, I used to play sports and I got injured. I tore a ligament in my shoulder. And as for like school, I wouldn't say I was the best kid. I was a terrible kid. My grades wasn't the
Me and
greatest
you both.
either. Yeah, I wasn't like a school guy. I was more of like an experience. Like I was doing crazy shit when I was like what high school. So like you know, I but like I said, I was the product of my environment. You know, I lost my dad when I was like 12. So because of that, like I basically was a pirate dude. I had a pirate code. Whatever code I created, that was what I lived by, which was, you know, ignorant as hell. But at the same time, who was there to like tell me anything? There was nobody to tell me. So like I personally did a lot of like dumb things. And I just so happened to meet certain people that just so happened to know that I had mad potential in the world, but I thought they were just talking shit.
Yeah,
And I was like, these dudes just like talking. I don't know what the hell they talking about. But then as I became more humble and like started like learning, uh, I started like understanding what they were saying, but I couldn't articulate it. And it was very hard to like kind of like change that because then when I started changing the way I act and changing the way I think, all like the good things that a person felt like was good, it all went away. You know, it all went away. So like I lost everything that was popping for me, you know. And that was hard. It was really hard, like, because it's like, damn, like why all of a sudden when I'm trying to do good, it's like all this bad shit is happening. Right. Like
yeah,
in terms I wouldn't say it's bad shit, it's just like everything was just being taken away, like everything was gone. Like, oh, like I was doing this and like now all of a sudden like that that environment is not wanting to work with me anymore, or like I was talking to this person and like now this person don't want to be cool with me anymore, or like I had connections for this and now this connection just all of a sudden just cut me off like randomly, like random things just like all just started happening.
yeah,
And I felt like I was losing everything. And I was like, why the hell would I'm doing this then? You know, why am I trying to be a good person? It's terrible.
yeah.
Right. But then as the progress goes, you know, I was able to pull through, got my diploma, you know, uh, late, but better late than never. But
Hey man, I'm
yeah,
on that boat too, man. You got any advice for me?
bro, hey man, like it's I look at it like this, you know, it's something that you can hold yourself accountable for, you know, and then on top of that too, like my grandmother, she always told me, she was just like, yo, you know, if anything happened to me, she's like, all I ask for you to do it. And like I I was like, say less, you know, like
Bro,
I feel like that's the minimal thing I could do, right? So, uh, and rest in peace her soul. You know, she passed away like 2 years ago,
God rest
and
her soul.
yeah, like so I just feel like for me, like it's like holding myself accountable, and yeah, it's just like having something that you could say, you know, that you have, you know.
Yeah,
And even with this, you know, like the way I want to live in the world, and I know it's a little crazy because of how the world is now, but I don't want to have any like no paper to like tell me what I need and what I can and what I cannot do because I'm strong enough and talented enough to do whatever I put my mind into it, you know.
absolutely.
Uh as long as I can find a way to basically do that, there's no stopping me.
Yeah,
Like regardless of what I am, you're gonna see my work ethic, you're gonna see my reputation, you're gonna see my resume, and you're gonna be like, damn, we can't say no to this. And that's how strong that I'm trying to build myself in a way where you cannot say no to me if the opportunity comes.
gotta be
So
undeniable
yeah,
when it
exactly.
comes to
And
you.
it's hard.
I
And it's
respect
hard.
that.
It's hard because you gotta work harder now. But you know, it's the life that I put myself in, and I feel like the direction I'm going to and the energy that I feel is right. You know, I feel it's right, and maybe people may not understand it, but maybe it's for them not to understand. It's for me to understand because it's for me, not you.
Absolutely.
And I feel confident.
As you should, bro.
Yeah,
Yo, that just gave me a lot of like confidence and motivation, man, because like I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like I dropped out at an early age. I dropped out in the 10th grade. You know, I was hanging around the wrong people and I
same,
was introduced to a lot of like things that I should have never been introduced to at that age. And I just
same.
felt like, I was being robbed of like, my innocence, but I'm not going to make it seem like I was like this innocent dude because as a teenager, I was completely aware of my actions, but I just felt like my environment played a big part in, like who I was at the time. And once
Yeah,
I was able,
you are a product of your environment. You know.
exactly, once I was able to like, get away from that environment, start hanging with like some positive people, I started to see life different. And
Mhm.
like I said, I dropped out at an early age that kind of hindered me, but for some reason, God has stayed by my side, man, no matter what. Like
Mhm.
God has never given up on me, whether I was right or whether I was wrong. He always provided for me in every way possible. I'm not gonna lie. And
Mhm.
I do feel like I owe it to, myself first, and I owe it to my family to go back and get my GED. And I'm not gonna lie, man, you gave me the motivation to do so.
Mhm.
I know it might be tough. I know may be challenging, but I'm gonna do what I gotta do when it comes to getting my education. Just getting that piece of paper, like you said, means a lot to this world. So, if that's what I gotta do, that's what I'm gonna do as well. You
Yeah,
motivated
man.
me to do so.
Yeah, man, and like I said, bro, like it's like I said, even the GED is it's a tedious task, but I'm telling you, man, like that those 3 months, bro, it's gonna go by quick.
Facts.
And like, and if you really put your mind into it, shit, it might be like 2 months. But one of the things, like I said, I grew up in a bad area. I mean, hell, like I grew up bad environment, and like when I lost my dad, I didn't have like the logic of like living past a certain age. Like my mindset was just like, if everything ends tomorrow, then I want to do the best I want to do that day. And that's a terrible mentality. It's very terrible,
Absolutely.
very terrible, especially as a teenager and shit like that. But like, I had no influence to like tell me to think better. Like drinking, all the other stuff like young age and shit like that. And especially when I got injured. When I got injured and I messed my shoulder up, like, and I couldn't play anymore, I literally just stopped caring about anything. I had no motivation. Like literally, I was a teenager that had no ambition, no ambition, no think they know better because I knew how to make money, but that was it. Like I knew how to make money, and like I thought I was the king of everything. I thought once I had this, there was nothing else I should care about, and that's so terrible.
Yeah.
That's so terrible.
Soldier
I
boy
know how terrible.
mentality.
Yeah, like it is so terrible. It's scary how terrible it is because some people could get lucky and make it like that, but then a lot of people cannot.
Yeah.
And definitely did. I did a lot of dumb stuff, and like I said, I am the product of my environment, and I know that person that I was in is no longer here. It's like it's he is not like he is not there anymore. And I accepted the fact that like I was a foolish kid, and everybody not everybody gets a chance to be a good kid.
Nah.
You're pretty lucky to be a good kid. I unfortunately was unlucky. My dad got taken away from me, and my mom definitely wasn't the best uh, emotional support slash mother towards me. And you put two and two together, and you could just imagine what a kid from South Central is going to do.
Yeah. It wasn't,
They
really many options, you know, at the time growing
no,
up in circumstances like that.
nope. And a lot of people don't understand that because they never been in my shoes, and I don't expect them to understand that. But I acknowledge what it was. Hell, even like I talked to my older sister, and we apologized for how we treated each other, and she was just like, I always thought you hated me, and I was like, honestly, when I was young, I hated you, but then I realized that we're just a product of our environment. How can I hate a product? How can I hate? How can I hate what the product did to you? Or how can I hate you for what the product did? Like I should hate what created this.
Yeah.
What I should dislike what created this, which is the environment. I dislike the environment, not you, because once you got out of that environment, look who the person you are. You're an amazing person, and that's because you was able to learn. You was able to get out. You was be able to learn how the world works and what you want to do.
Yep.
You know, and that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of change, but you know, uh, I'm just glad that I was able to accept my sister's like who she is now, and our relationship is 40 million times better. I would never ask for another sister like this ever again. I don't think I'm ever gonna get something like this. One of the greatest things ever, and we grew stronger, and it made me as a better person too.
That's
You
so
know,
dope, man.
yeah,
Just hearing that, man.
yeah, dude. Like it's actually the greatest feeling ever. I can't really explain the feeling, but I just want you to know it feels amazing. It feels amazing to be able to talk to a relative that you had bad history with, and now you guys are just like, man, it's just like, oh, it's like a new chapter, bro. It's like best feeling ever.
Yeah,
But it took me. I had to grow, and yeah, I'm very grateful that where I am today.
that's pretty cool,
I,
man.
yeah.
And no, just to like piggyback off of what you said and add my own opinion, I personally feel like the environment that like a lot of people can grow up in can be detrimental. And I personally feel like poverty is the matrix.
Yes.
And if you can somehow obtain the knowledge you need to make it out, you will be unstoppable.
Yeah,
And
you
and
will.
and a lot of people just don't get it, man.
Well, the thing is, it's like you said, it's the Matrix, and like when you watch the movie The Matrix, look how you are in the Matrix. You're unstoppable. You could
Yep.
like run off walls. You feel so good in the Matrix. So when somebody is telling you to disconnect from the Matrix, they're in their mind. They're technically you're telling me to get rid of the good. Why are you telling me to stop feeling good? And like it's very hard for a lot of people to process that. It's because you're taking their good away, and in their mind, they think that's all it is, and this is where everything goes. But in reality, this is just a small portion of how fucked up the world is, and
Facts.
how messed up the environment is, and how this is not good whatsoever.
Yeah.
This is actually like child's play of what good can be,
Yeah.
and it's very hard to break that out of people because they're so used to it. Like, and then what makes it worse, the older you get, the harder it's harder to break because what they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
You ain't never
So when
lied.
you get a certain age, they just wanna keep in their ways and they more even stubborn about it. So it's really, really hard. But yeah, it is a matrix. And I hope everybody could disconnect out of that shit because it is not good. Trust me, man. It is not good. Knowing the experience is not okay. And it ruins more. It does more bad than good.
Yeah. And you know, like you said, it does more bad than good. And speaking of that, I know a lot of people that's in a bad environment that are like so talented, man. Like I feel like this world and so many different industries in this world needs, some creatives to just like come from certain environments to just be put, in these industries and fill these gaps and voids of especially content, man. Like how many comedians do you know that's from the hood? You probably know at
Five,
least five.
five,
5 or 10
five, 4, 5, 5 off the back right now.
basketball players,
So
rappers.
most
Yeah.
stars are from the bad area.
Yep.
Even boxers, most stars
Oh yeah.
have a terrible, terrible, terrible family hood, and
Absolutely.
they just made something into nothing. It took one person in their life impacted them differently.
Yeah. And to go back to like the whole Matrix thing, I have like this whole concept of like when I was escaping my bad environment that I went through, I felt like I was being like reborn again. I felt like I
Yeah,
was being renewed. I felt like my whole mind changed. Everything that I thought about was different. How I moved, how I talked, how I saw things. It felt like I was like fresh out of the womb almost.
yeah, it's a good
It
feeling.
was
And
crazy.
the scariest part is just like you don't know where to start.
Yeah.
You gotta write your own book.
Yep.
And like, for me, the hardest part of writing a book is the first sentence.
Yep.
How my introduction is going to look like, because you wanted to make sure it's really good and it fits you as a person.
Absolutely.
So I think that is the hardest thing. Is like the first 10 steps after being reborn. But I feel like once you kind of get a direction and you get a feel out, I feel like you have an idea of where you want to go. But yeah, I do agree that you definitely feel reborn, and it's a crazy feeling because it's like, it's like, where do I start? It's like, how do I
Absolutely.
start? Where do I start? What's the definition of what I am? And what do I like? I'm having a personality now. I'm growing to who I am, and
Absolutely.
I'm developing like these attributes that like how what do I like about this thing, or like how do I feel about this? How I truly feel? How I truly feel about the situations.
Yep.
Like learning a lot and like learning how to articulate that. Definitely the hardest thing uh, when you're reborn.
And that was the sense of us knowing, like, coming to full consciousness of understanding that we were being taken advantage of and manipulated mentally.
Yeah, and no one wants to accept being manipulated. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody wants to feel being manipulated. Like I thought to myself, I'm like, man, I really got like manipulated by my environment, and like I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah.
Like when I hear people talk about manipulation and like mental abuse like that, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, that kind of sound like what I was going through, but I didn't take it how you took it. I like just let it happen.
Yeah.
And then I kind of just like built upon it, but I never got it like expressed. And and I know a lot of people go to therapists and things like that, but for me, I have a lot of close friends that we all went through the same thing, and we just share our stories. And I feel like that's my therapist, my therapy. Is
Yeah.
like being able to talk about these things and like sharing like perspectives and things like that. Uh, that's like the best therapy I ever had. Somebody that I could trust and like talk to about shit like that. That
Facts.
shit's heavy. Shit's heavy. And for me, I can't trust everybody, and I'm definitely not going to give somebody money just for them to hear me. And
Oh man.
I just think for me, it's hard for me to do that. It's hard for me to do it. I'm not saying people shouldn't do it,
Yeah.
but from my personal experience, it is not for me. But I found a way to take care of like the things that I need to do.
As
And
you
I think
should.
that I think everybody should do things that they feel like they should do to benefit themselves. And
Yeah.
it may not be the same as everybody else, but it is important to do something about it.
Absolutely.
Mm.
But to pretty much close this up, do you have like any advice that you can give some people out there that are, looking up to you, on your platform to, just make it, or how to get from point A to point B?
That is a hard one. But this, like I said, this is the top of the dome. But you know, I know that like a lot of people, when they see me, they always see me in like high spirit and like always like super energetic and things like that. But I want them to know that like most of the time I talk about things, I always articulate it in a way where a person can take this, even though it's part of like gaming, but they could take this in real life and they can like apply it into their daily routine to better themselves and whatever they want to do. And it's one of the way I'm doing it is like you're not technically, you have a choice to take the advice or not, but it's not being forced on you. It's just one of those things where like you hear it and it like does something to your mind, and
Absolutely.
it does it in a very positive way. And you know, this thing is not easy. It's definitely very very hard, and you have to embrace the like stress levels. People have anxiety. Best thing I could say is like you have to embrace those feelings, because those feelings are not going to go away. You have to embrace it. And but you have to nurture yourself at the same time. You got to make sure you're okay. Like embracing it, but also like take care of yourself at the same time.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not an easy task. It's not. It's people think that you just go on and just boom, you just sit on a chair and like life is good. No, you do not. You know, I still do more work off stream, you know, than on stream. I'm doing a lot of personal things too that I'm working on myself, and it's definitely not easy. And
Oh,
I I always tell people I don't ever want people to go through the shit that I'm going through just to be able to talk like this. So I will. My best advice is please listen to people that actually has a lot of like experience in life and take little graphs and little ideas from them and formulate it into your own dreams and your own goals and your own ambitions. And
absolutely.
be different. Be different from somebody else. Don't be the same. Just be different. And it's okay to be different. It's nothing wrong with being different.
Embrace it.
Embrace it. You know, it's a lonely walk, but you're gonna find a small group of different people just like you if you keep moving forward.
Yep.
But you have to move forward.
Absolutely. Hey, man, where can everybody find you on social
They can
media?
follow me on Twitter, Kizzie underscore K. They can also hit me up on YouTube, Kizzie K310, and my Twitch, Kizzie K310.
Hey,
So yeah, those are the socials that I'm, you know, most active with. I'm going to be having my other things active, like my Instagram is starting to get a little bit more active as well. I'm going to be getting a TikTok pretty soon.
yep.
But yeah, and you guys could check out Kizzy K clips. I have clips where I upload from like my YouTube. So I have a clips channel as well if you want to check that out. But yeah, those are the um socials that you guys can find me in. And thank you again, bro. It was great talking to you,
Hey,
bro.
no problem, man. Amazing talking to you as well, bro. I feel like
Mm.
this conversation was definitely genuine.
Need and need it, right?
Yeah, definitely needed, man. Definitely gave
Yeah,
me a lot of guidance and motivation as well. You know, this definitely gave me a lot of manhood. You know, I feel like this was definitely something that is going to be in the books.
yeah.
Yep.
And like I said, I'm glad. You know, I don't know why the universe reached out, but I'm glad the universe did. You
Facts.
know, God bless you, man. Honestly, well, like I appreciate this opportunity, and like I said, I know this is like all like on top of the dome, you know, but I really hope, yeah, I really hope people embrace the things, and you know, things are heavy. I'm okay, you know,
Yep.
like you know, I'm fine now. You know, I just want everybody to know I don't want people feeling bad,
Yeah.
but it's definitely something just to reminisce and appreciate these type of things, you know, and
Absolutely.
yeah, you gotta appreciate your L's sometimes. You know,
Yep.
sometimes we don't like looking at our L's, but when you look at it, you get stronger
Yep.
because your tolerance level gets higher.
Turn your L's into W's.
Yep.
Hey, as always, it's your boy Philadelphia. Taking off from the 99 and the 2000s. Peace.